Let's go. Yeah. Hello, moot. We'll probably talk about some things we talked about yesterday. The first thing is, I think everyone who will hear this knows Fortran. How the fuck did Fortran get so famous?
That's a good question, actually.
I mean, you were at something awful.
Well, the way this started was I was a user of something awful, and they have an anime subforum called ADTRW, and in that subforum there was a Direct Connect hub that had its own IRC channel, so it's kind of like tangentially related, but not directly related. And these people were users of a website in Japan called Futaba Channel, and so I was introduced to it through them, and it was an image board. And at that time, image boards weren't really well known outside of Japan, and so I took their code, which was freely available, and I threw it up on my own hosting and shared it with these people in this IRC channel, and everything kind of went from there. It's grown organically from that. I guess it's all been word of mouth, and I think one of the ways it spread very quickly to start with was people love sharing images, and so people would just paste links, usually on the random board to their friends, and then they'd look at the image and they would just kind of like chop off the /source/123.jpg and then say, oh hey, it's a forum, and started using it that way. So
okay, so there's no major events, because many bloggers who attend this event have major events like Spreeblick, for example, from Johnny, and they had one time they were blogging about Jamba, a company that does ringtones, and they got many hits on this article alone, and many readers stayed. So there's no major event or something like that.
None pop to mind. I've more recently, over the past year, we've gotten more press, and so I'm always curious to see when we get press. Does our bandwidth, does the bandwidth spike? Does Google Analytics show any sort of spikes in terms of visits or page impressions? And we don't often see that, actually. It's rare to see any sort of spike, even after being linked on the Wall Street Journal or something. Even after we were featured on the front page of Wikipedia for, I believe it was January 14th. So there were more referrals coming from Wikipedia when you track that, but still the page impressions didn't really spike. So
is that because you have so many users that it doesn't really count?
I think that's what it is. I think it's kind of a drop in the ocean kind of thing. It's
like
hard to detect.
Tipping into a sea of
tips. Exactly.
Yeah. So the next thing, the meaning of Fortran to society. How do you see it? I mean, it's obviously a meme hub and used to foster and spread memes. So how do you see it? And do you think that is in any way needed, like from a cultural point of view?
I don't want to get too deep here, but I think 4chan is, maybe not 4chan, but anonymous BBS in general are an important thing to have around. I think they provide a really healthy outlet for people, and I get a lot of email, and some of the email is negative, and some of the email is very positive, and just people, and the kind of common theme between those emails are people are thanking me for providing them with a place where they can go and share things on 4chan that they might not share with their friends, their family, and their colleagues. And I think it's a healthy tool for certain things like that. But I don't know if 4chan really has any sort of societal relevance past just being a big community. I don't think we're really changing.
I didn't mean relevance. I mean, is it necessary? I think it's probably necessary because if it wasn't, it wouldn't have been such a hit, and people wouldn't try to make image boards Fortran style.
Yeah, to make thousands. Yeah, so I guess I would agree with you in that sense. That
okay.
I think it met the need of a lot of people, and that's why it spread.
Okay, so do you still spend time browsing on Fortran when you're not, active in the sense of moderating or messing with people's heads? Do you still
outside of administration?
In your free time?
Yeah, no, I'm whenever I'm on my computer, I've always got Firefox open, and I've always got a tab of 4chan open.
Okay.
I don't sit around usually actively refreshing for hours on end, but I've always got something open, and between emails and in between reading the news or something, I click over and I refresh and I read it quickly and I go through a thread, maybe go through a few pages and come back to it in an hour. So over the course of a day, I would say I at least spend a few hours on my site, and that's just browsing. In addition to that, moderating is still something I do actively.
So is there any favorite blog you have?
I mean, I'm most commonly I'm random.
How unexpected.
Well, some people don't expect that. Some people, I don't know how this rumor got started or why people started believing this, but they all claim that I don't use website anymore, which couldn't be further from the truth. Or they say that I guess some journalists have said that I'm quick to distance from the content, so I don't associate with it, or I don't find the content to be interesting, and that's not true either. I mean, I definitely I try to distance the site from some of the extremes that people see on B, because those are few and far in between, and I don't want people to get the impression that it's all about extremes. But I still identify with a lot of the humor, and I enjoy browsing the board, and that's why I'm on it for at least an hour or two every day. Random is kind of the life force of the site, and it's kind of the gateway drug to the site too. I feel, and I think a lot of people come in through Random. They're like junkies, they're diehards, and then they finally, it's like there's this one day they just go, oh wow, there's other stuff on this website, and they kind of go to the other boards and start using those. But
so how much time do you spend working, like administrating or programming in a week on sessions?
In a week?
Yes. Maybe if you can break it down to a day, but I usually can't programming break down to a day.
It's really tough to say because it changes constantly. When I first started the website, I was spending, I was 15, I was in high school, and I was up every night until 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and so I was spending at least 6, 7 hours a day just either writing stuff for the site or playing with the code or moderating and also browsing. And as the years have kind of gone by, I've gone through cycles where I'll start doing a lot of work and I'll spend 8 hours, 9 hours a day just working on things, and then I'll go through kind of periods where I spend every other day and not as often. Like the most recent kind of binge that we did, I flew my programmer up from his home to stay with me in New York, and we did a 2-week. You're familiar with Google Summer of Code? Do you know Google?
What fun is it?
No. You're familiar? No. So,
I'm familiar with that.
So I called it. No, I kind of referred to it as I said. Summer of Code. We can do the same thing. We'll just call it Winter of Pain.
That would be a very cool thing.
Yeah.
To attract developers.
Yeah. Well, so the first, the inaugural Winter of Pain was just me and my developer, and we spent like 12 hours, more than 12 hours a day, just working on the site. And I re-imaged 7 servers. I re-imaged 6 servers, did like full operating system reinstalls and reset them up and kind of changed a little bit about the architecture. He did a lot of programming. We got a lot of work done. So that's an example of where in that week I spent literally over 100 hours working on the site. But maybe the week before that it was like 5. So it really kind of varies pretty drastically.
What features came up with the Winter of Pain?
I have to think. We switched over. Oh, geez. The most
no end user things.
No, actually, I don't think there was many front-facing changes. It was mostly back-end stuff. I'm trying to think of something that you might have noticed. We changed the way pages rebuild, and so that coupled with the operating system improvement, we went from FreeBSD 5.5 to 7.1 release. Or I think it was like RC2 at that time, but release came out like halfway through. So going from actually FreeBSD 5.5 to 7.1, they made so many improvements that our server that runs CGI.4chan, which is like a lot of the adult stuff, went from pushing 200 megabits peak to after the reinstall 400 megabits peak within the next day, 24 hours. So that's really the major change that was done with the operating system. That alone doubled its throughput. So we got a pretty, and I think the Latin